Hi guys, today I'm gonna just film a Q&A, a little question and answer about my experience moving to Hawaii and how it's been. I went on Instagram yesterday and did a little thing where you guys could leave me some questions, so I'm just gonna answer some of the most commonly asked ones that I got. A lot of people asked me why did I move to Hawaii. I guess I'll just answer that first because I grew up at the beach. I grew up in tropical weather. I grew up in flat Florida, so there's no elevation, and I wanted to be somewhere that still had the warm humidity and the beach life, the tropicalness, but I wanted elevation. I wanted to be able to go on hikes. When I was staying in North Carolina for a bit during the beginning of quarantine, that's when I kind of realized that I wanted a mix of both mountains and beach, and I always saw myself potentially living in Hawaii, but after experiencing the mountains for a while, it made it easier to decide to move here because it just really fits my lifestyle with what I do every day. Second most common asked question was, is it expensive? How much money did I save? Is it more expensive than California? I don't really know the average cost of renting here. My rent is almost half the price of what I was paying in California. But I also have 5 roommates, whereas in California I only had 1. But then again, I'm in a big ass house with a big ass yard, so it like weighs out. I do notice that food is so fucking expensive. Like some things are almost double the price. I literally refuse to buy avocados now because when I went to the store the other day, I got a few avocados for $2 each, which was a lot, but then the next day when I went back, or a few days later when I went back, they were $3 for one avocado. So I feel like gas is slightly cheaper, if not the same as the cost of gas in California, but gas in California was almost double the price compared to Florida. So I guess what I'm just trying to say is, like, you might have to sacrifice some things to be able to like be where you want to be, but I think if you really want it, then you'll make sacrifices. You might have 5 roommates, I don't know. As far as savings, the biggest thing that I had to save for, I guess, or something that I had to pull out of my savings, was just to ship my car here. That cost about $1,500, but that's not a necessity. I don't even really feel like I need a car, although I know in a few weeks I'm gonna want it because I haven't been able to explore the island too much yet since my car isn't here yet. You can really customize your moving experience for what you are able to do. You don't have to do the full 9 yards all at once just because somebody else might have when they moved to an island. You know, it is completely different moving here than it was moving across the country. You guys saw in my video of my process moving here, I already don't own a lot of stuff, but I did have to get rid of a lot of stuff just because I didn't want to ship, like, I didn't want to spend a lot of money shipping things that I didn't need over here. Financially, I did save money by downsizing even more. That's something that you might look into if you move anywhere in life. It's always going to be a bit cheaper when you have less stuff. How has moving locations affected your mental health? I feel super stoked and super happy and super grateful to be here because this was a dream of mine to live here for a while. But it's not really about where I'm living that makes me happy. It's more so just doing something for myself and honoring these changes within myself. And when I realized I was ready to leave San Diego, just honoring that and making it work. And I know I'm very blessed to be able to work like wherever I'm at, doing YouTube and selling my artwork. I do have an advantage, but I was talking about this to one of my roommates, how if I wasn't in the situation that I am now, I still feel very confident that I would do absolutely anything in my power to make it work, and I would not settle being somewhere or doing something that didn't make me happy. I've had this mindset since high school, back when I was super depressed. Like when I decided that I didn't want to be sad anymore, the most important thing and my top priority was my happiness. And so just as an example, like something that I would do if I didn't have like the job that I have right now, I really love kids, and being a nanny, a full-time nanny, pays really well. If you don't like kids, obviously don't be a nanny. But my point is, like, if you want to move somewhere and you're worried about a job, I would just say do research on jobs in that location and fill out applications. Work as hard as you can while you're still where you are. Save up money and just do what it takes. Like, if you really want to experience something new, I highly encourage doing whatever it takes to do that, because life is so short. A lot of people are asking me about Hazel. Hazel was my cat that I rescued from Utah on my road trip back from North Carolina. I found her at a motel and she was so tiny, so frail. I thought she was only like a month old because of how skinny she was, but she was actually a few months old. But anyways, I scooped her up after we had like a connection. I wasn't just gonna take her if she didn't want to be with me, but we seemed to hit it off. So I packed her up and brought her back to San Diego with me. In my heart, I knew, like, with my traveling lifestyle and with me not knowing where I'll be in a few years or in a few months, it would be sort of unfair moving a cat around in particular, because I do think cats have a harder time at adjusting to new environments. So I already knew when I found her that this might just be an opportunity to rescue a cat so she doesn't die in the middle of Utah. But I did have hope that, like, I could keep her forever. However, coming to Hawaii, it was a difficult process figuring out how to get animals over here. And then also, my landlord doesn't allow animals where I'm living. So I ended up giving Hazel to one of my friends in San Diego. Her name's Peyton. She has a cat, and Hazel and her cat are now BFFs, and I think they're both very happy. I think all three of them are happy. Hazel, Peyton, and Peyton's cat. I think it worked out great. How and where did you find somewhere to live? I don't know where to start looking. Well, this was not my initial plan. I was gonna rent a shack, literally with the bare minimum. Like, the bathroom and the shower was outside. It was a room. It was just a shack, like literally a shack outside, which was exactly what I wanted. But I could only stay there for a month, and it was actually more expensive to rent that shack than to rent this room in this house. My cousin was like, hey, there's a room available in the house that I'm renting. You should live with me. And I was like, damn, like, that seems really fun, but I was really looking forward to the shack, and I also, like, wasn't sure if it was gonna work out. Point is, it ended up working out. If you don't have family living somewhere where you're moving, or if Airbnb isn't practical, kind of like the job situation, I would just recommend doing research before getting to where you're going. So many people are asking about my mental health. I really don't think it's the place that you are. I think it's acknowledging that you're doing something for yourself and being grateful for your motivation to do something for yourself. I could have moved to Arizona. Arizona's beautiful, but I'm just saying, like, I didn't have to move to Hawaii to improve my mental health. I didn't even have to move to improve my mental health. Like, I was happy in San Diego. I was just ready for a new life experience, and like I said, honoring that change and doing what makes me happy is what's improving my mental health. What are some actual cons? Not to be pessimistic at all, but I just want to share real life, because I feel like through social media, I try to be real. Like, I don't try to show a fake lifestyle, but through social media, living on an island, being at the beach, and, you know, doing what I'm doing, it might seem all glamorous and fun and perfect all the time, but cons could be, well, actually, I'm very thankful because I live up in a valley, so I'm not actually in town, but Oahu is a very touristy island. That's not what I want, but financially, it was cheap to live here, so I'm here. What else? Food being super expensive isn't really a pro. I don't really count this as a con because, like I said, I'm feeling humble. I'm not feeling overwhelmed by it, but not having my car yet and not being able to, like, explore the island, like, it's not even me. I'm not sad or disappointed at all, but I'm just trying to point out things that other people might view as cons, which is silly because it doesn't matter. The biggest con, though, is the time difference. Right now, it's a 5-hour time difference from where I grew up in Florida, but once daylight savings starts on Sunday, it'll be a 6-hour time difference. What's your plan for the year? They even put quotes on plan. I never have a plan. All I know is I'll be here for 4 months. That's literally all I know. What was it like moving during COVID? I feel like this was almost like my second time moving during COVID. In the beginning of COVID, I went over to North Carolina for 5 months because I was so depressed being closed off in my apartment, not being able to go outside. So I just packed up and drove across the country and just isolated in nature, which I'm so thankful I was able to do because that was one of the best experiences of my life. The only thing I had to be careful about was like whenever I stopped for gas or food, just being sure that like I was keeping things clean and not touching a lot of stuff and wearing my mask and stuff. When moving here on a plane, that's a completely different experience because there's other people on the plane. You're not solo by yourself in a car. I flew with Southwest and they had it so you were the only person in a row unless you were flying with like a family member or like somebody else in your party. So I had a whole row to myself. You have to wear your mask all the time. You had to upload a negative COVID test 3 days before traveling here. Otherwise, you had to quarantine for 10 days. And also, like, once getting off the plane, they literally check everybody's information to make sure that you had the COVID test. And if you didn't, like, making sure that, like, you know that you have to quarantine. So I feel like they were being really on top of it. Would you have gone if you didn't have family there? I literally don't care at all about moving somewhere or traveling somewhere and not knowing somebody. Like I said, I was initially gonna stay up in North Shore. I'm living in South Shore right now. I was initially gonna stay up in North Shore where I don't know anybody. The only person that I actually know here is my cousin, and it just happened to work out that like the room was available. But I don't really have a fear of doing things by myself or not knowing somebody, and I think that's just because of who I am. Like, everybody's different, so maybe what doesn't bring me fear might bring you fear, or vice versa. I guess I would just try to encourage you not to let fear hold you back from life experiences, because fear isn't a bad thing. I've gotten a lot of questions about money, but this person in particular said that money is holding them back from traveling, not necessarily moving, I don't think, but just like traveling in general. And again, do your research, sacrifice things. You don't have to travel or live luxuriously to be happy. I'm so grateful because the house that I'm living in, it's nice, it's in a great area, and I live with amazing people, but I was about to stay in a shack. Like, I don't know, I think maybe because of my mindset, I'm okay with living very simply and very minimally, and I don't care about having like new nice things. I'm good with thrifting, I'm good with like recycling and upcycling and all of that, so I feel like that definitely benefits me when it comes to traveling, and it definitely enables me to travel more and to live more freely in a sense, because I'm not spending unnecessary money on unnecessary things. I would love to do something like this, but I'm unable due to how bad my mental health has been. Advice? I'm not a mental health professional at all, and I'm gonna keep this short because I'm not a professional, but like I mentioned a bit ago, I don't know if this is like traveling advice, but I guess just like life advice, which I think could extend to traveling. I made the decision when I was 18, it's literally why I have the number 18 tattooed on my finger. I made the decision that nothing was more important than my happiness, and as hard as it is, I literally have chills because it is damn near impossible to like get yourself out of funks when you're really deep in them. I think actively choosing happiness over pain, and when pain became so overwhelming, choosing to be grateful for something as simple as the sun. I really feel like practicing that awareness and that gratitude helped me to get to where I am mentally, and where I'm at mentally is enabling me to do things like traveling, I think. Again, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. This is just from my own experience. I also don't know if the lighting is good here, but I really wanted this plant in the video, so bear with me. Do you miss your apartment and having more space? I literally have more space here, and it's crazy because having 5 roommates, I thought like, what am I getting myself into? But I actually have more personal space here than I did at home. I have a whole yard. I'm right next to this park. My neighborhood is a beautiful walk, like it's up a hill. But no, I don't miss my apartment. I haven't even thought about my apartment at all because I was ready to leave and I was ready to let it go. I was ready for this next chapter of my life. Someone said I should do a tattoo tour while doing yoga in my rad backyard. That's sick, but that also seems like a lot going on, and I don't know if I can actually practically do that. But I do want to film some yoga videos because a lot of you guys are asking me for that, so I hear you, and they will be coming. Oh no, my camera's gonna die. I think that's a sign that I'm done with the questions because my camera's gonna die, and I think I answered a good amount. I hope I was able to give you guys like just some honest, real life answers on my experience. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Might make a part 2 if and when I move to a new island, or maybe still while living on Oahu. Like, I might do an updated one of these once I have my car and once I'm actually able to like venture off more. I'm not really sure. But anyways, if you did like this video, please thumbs it up and please subscribe to my channel, and I'll catch you later. Bye. Oh, also have a great day.